everyone. Welcome to Mind, Body, Fitness, Recovery, and Wellness. I'm Pam, Wellness and Recovery Life Coach and Nutritionist. Let's take our 4 deep breaths. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. I'll count. Breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Out 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Out 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more. Breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Out 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. And out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep breathing is one way we can meditate anytime, anywhere. Today's topic is critical moment-to-moment recovery is vital for your health and well-being. Did you know that recovery isn't just for an addiction to drugs or alcohol? Did you know that recovery needs to begin as soon as you hear news that devastates you? Did you know that recovery needs to begin as soon as you see a tragedy unfold, whether in person or on TV? Did you know that if recovery does not begin immediately after experiencing trauma of any kind, your mind, body, fitness, and wellness begin to deteriorate? Did you know that it happens slowly, over time, unnoticed, but felt at some level of your being? You know. You know when your being has taken a hit. You know, you feel it. You may not know what it is, but you feel it. You always do. And it sits. It stays in your body. It grows as a feeling of unease. A feeling that you just can't define, but you know it's there. And it's at that place. It's with this feeling of something is not right that recovery is critical. You want to recover who you were before you heard something that caused an unease in your being, in your body, in your mind. And you want to do this before your unease becomes dis-ease, and before your dis-ease becomes disease. You want to bring your body back to as much peace and serenity as you can. If you've been with me for a while, you know that it's critical for your well-being to make sure we have a self-care, self-soothe toolkit. I talk about this in all my videos because it's so important. To mention it in just 1 or 2 videos or podcasts would not be a sufficient amount of time to dedicate to this mind-body saving habit. The tools of which I'm speaking are hydration, 20 ounces of water first thing after wakening before ingesting anything else and waiting 20 to 30 minutes and continuing to hydrate consistently during the day. Deep breathing, 4 counts in, hold for 4, and out for 4, at least 4 rounds, like we just did. Always having at your disposal a small bottle of essential oil that brings you peace and a smile when you smell it. And eating a whole food diet. I talk about the importance of a whole food diet in a previous podcast, and I'll put that link below. And that's a daily process that becomes a habit. The water, deep breathing, and smelling your favorite essential oil are things you can do on the spot. So now let's go into a real-life example of when you would need to employ a recovery immediately. Let me add a disclaimer here. The examples I'm about to use are things that happen to us in everyday life, and I'm using these for a reason. They are not things that we think about as us needing recovery from. The word recovery conjures up in images like an addict who can't stop using, and that is certainly a situation that needs recovery. We think of a war veteran coming home after living through the horrific situations of death and destruction, and that is certainly a situation that needs recovery and takes years from which to heal. But it is critical that we do not overlook, especially at this time, the other traumatic things that happen in our daily life on a seemingly smaller scale that add up to deteriorate our well-being, our emotional and physical health. March 2020. After a steady diet of watching our country descending into devastation from the coronavirus on the news, Massachusetts, along with other states, went into lockdown. Schools, colleges, restaurants, movie theaters, hair salons, retail stores, auto body shops, and much more were told to close, and citizens were told to stay home indefinitely. Before the pandemic hit our world, we were free to go where we wanted, with whom we wanted, when we wanted, and without a mask. We slowly came to the realization that those things were not available to us. Not right now, anyway. This was the moment when we needed to employ recovery. Thousands of people were already doing that. Thousands of people already had their self-care toolkits to support them. Thousands of people were prepared to process that trauma that millions of others had no idea how to handle, at least not in ways that promoted well-being and a healthy lifestyle. And I'm going to add here what America watched on the news on January 6th at the U.S. Capitol. For most Americans, those horrific images caused an immediate imprint of trauma that needed on-the-spot recovery to begin. Recovery like this might look like this. Deep breathing before even getting up out of bed. Morning water with consistent hydration throughout the day. Maybe a protein and spinach shake. Prayer. Now, if the word prayer makes you cringe, and that's okay, use other words like being silent for a few minutes and asking your unseen support being for love and protection. Whether you believe it or not, there are unseen sources, unseen beings who wait for us to ask for help. They are there. Use them. Exercise. Eating a 90% clean, whole food diet. And this list goes on. These things are not just for the special few who can sit in silent meditation for hours in the morning. These things are not just for the alcoholic recovering from a childhood riddled with abuse and trauma. These things are not just for the victim of an auto accident who is fighting their way back to emotional and physical health. These things are for everyone, anyone, all of us. I'll use another example from my own life. I have a 15-year-old Yorkie. Her name is Reese. She has 6 pounds of love and unwavering affection for everyone. She started squinting one morning, and after 2 days, she was still squinting, and she started pawing her face near her eyes. I got nervous, and I called her vet. The vet wanted to see her soon. That day, I left work early and took Reese to the vet. After a series of tests, the vet told me Reese has calcium deposits that have started infiltrating her cornea. I had 3 options, the doctor said: replacing the cornea, removing her eye, or starting a strict regimen of medications that might slow the growth of the calcium deposits. I asked the doctor if Reese was in pain, and she told me that most likely she's uncomfortable. We opted for the medication. The doctor also let me know that euthanasia was an option. For a dog of her age, to put her through surgery wouldn't be the best alternative if I was considering it. Even though I agreed and was grateful that she mentioned euthanasia, it was so hard for me to process all at once. Okay, let's take a look at this situation that I'm sure is not uncommon for dog owners. As soon as I noticed my dog squinting was the moment I needed to employ recovery, that I needed to seek the support for my self-care toolkit, that I needed to take deep breaths and think rationally, and as much as I could, continue to employ my daily routine of self-care to ensure consistent well-being and to uphold my emotional and physical health. Can you think of a recent situation that needed immediate recovery? Maybe you received news that a loved one received a positive COVID-19 test result. Maybe you received a phone call from your adult child that they found out their spouse was unfaithful. Maybe you suspect or found out that your spouse was unfaithful. Maybe you were waiting at a red light in your car and someone hit you from behind. Take 10 seconds now and recall that situation. It could be a situation that just comes and goes, but leaves an imprint in your mind and body that you don't even know is there. You start to feel uneasy. As soon as you recognize your unease, make sure you take time to engage in steps to recover your well-being. Now, this does not mean ignore anger or shock of the situation, or ignore that you need to grieve. No way. What it means is that we always want to recognize that these things impact our emotional and physical well-being, no matter how small they seem. And they leave an imprint of trauma, big or small, that needs our loving attention, that needs our recovery. Thank you so much for your likes, your questions and your comments, your shares, and for subscribing. Bye for now. Namaste.